What is up, guys? So now that fall is officially here, wow, fall. Where'd summer go? Fall is officially here, whether we like it or not. And I actually really like the first month of fall. I have a lot of fun with the first month of fall because of the weather, the way it feels, the crispness. There's a whole new different type of movie season as well going on right now that you can get into. I want to talk to you guys about the remaining films that are coming out this year that I'm looking forward to the most this fall and winter. You guys have been wondering about that. You've been asking me questions on Twitter and Facebook. What are your most look forward to movies now the summer's over? I thought, hey, why not? Let's talk about them. Now, I've already seen a few of them. For instance, I've already seen Gravity, which I really enjoyed. My review for that is currently up right now. The next film I'm very much interested in comes out very soon. It's called Captain Phillips. The movie is with Tom Hanks. It's directed by Paul Greengrass. It's a true story about a boat captain and pirates take over his boat. Not the Captain Jack Sparrow type of pirates, but modern day type of pirates. I think Paul Greengrass is one of the only directors who can actually make shaky cam look like an art form still and not just some crazy gimmick. So that film definitely still has my interest, and of course Tom Hanks is a humongous draw as well. Also in the month of October, Machete Kills and Carrie. Two films I'm a little curious about. Carrie, for one, is another horror remake, so who knows if that's going to be any good. It has good actors in it, that's for sure. It's just that I don't know really what it can do that's different from the original, which I thought was very good, directed by Brian De Palma. Machete Kills looks like it could be a fun sequel. Danny Trejo and Mel Gibson just hamming it up purposefully. I'm interested in seeing that, but I'm not like deathly curious about it. I think it could be fun, and hopefully it is. But we also have Escape Plan, formerly known as The Tomb, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Just those two actors in a movie together, I'm automatically interested, even if it's corny and cheesy as hell. Yes, Stallone was in Rocky, and Arnold made great films like Terminator and Predator, but to me they fill this awesome 80s, early 90s void of action that we don't really get that much of anymore. The Counselor I don't know much about except for a fantastic cast, and it's directed by Ridley Scott, and I like the fact that the trailers don't give them much away. I love Ridley Scott films. He does have some hits and some misses, but when he does well, it's great, and hopefully The Counselor is pretty great. I'm excited to see what he's got up his sleeve. Now in November we have this movie called Ender's Game. It stars Asa Butterfield, Haley Steinfeld, and Harrison Ford, as well as Ben Kingsley. That cast interests me because it has two really great young actors. We haven't really seen that much from Haley Steinfeld since True Grit. And of course, the great Harrison Ford and the great Ben Kingsley are in the film as well. I just hope it's as good as the trailers are trying to make it look, because I'm not really seeing a moment that's like, oh wow, that looks awesome. It just looks interesting based off the cast and the plot. But I hope the film and the story actually delivers as well. Now, one of my most anticipated movies for the rest of the year is definitely Thor: The Dark World. I enjoyed the first Thor, but I really do think there's a lot of room for improvement there. Hopefully this film builds upon the story that's already been set up. That's one of the cool things about these Marvel movies, is since they're all related now, they can all build on this universe and this story, and it feels deeper than just one film. Now, whenever Martin Scorsese comes out with a new film, I'm automatically excited, purely based on the fact that he's an incredible director and one of my favorite directors. The Wolf of Wall Street has Leonardo DiCaprio in a sort of business, financial, money, scam, scandalous type film. And that's something that Martin Scorsese, I just think he's gonna own it. I sort of get this Catch Me If You Can vibe from the trailer, not just because it has Leo DiCaprio in it, but because of the whole money and scam related things about it. I'm really interested in seeing what Martin Scorsese is gonna bring to the screen, because he makes every scene pop. Every camera pan and turn always has something cool behind it. And I'm hoping that The Wolf of Wall Street delivers as a film as well. Another sequel that I'm hoping improves upon the first one is the new Hunger Games film, Catching Fire. I enjoyed the first film, but like Thor, I thought there was a lot of room for improvement, and I think that they can do that. They've changed the director, and I really think the trailer was interesting. It looked a lot more steady, a lot less shaky cam, which is something that, as I said earlier, I think few directors can really pull off successfully. I'm not huge into the books, but I'm interested in the story. I'm curious to see where it goes. Now, December, we have a lot of really interesting films, because that's where they try to cram all the big Oscar stuff, and then Christmas always has a whole bunch of great films. One of the first films in December I'm very curious about is Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson, Casey Affleck. That film looks fantastic. I'm truly excited to see that movie for the performances, for the interesting story, because I read up a little bit on the plot and I don't want to know anything else, but it definitely interests me. Anything Christian Bale does nowadays, I'm instantly 100% wanting to be there, because that guy is an actor who gives his all to his performances, unlike most actors working today. I mean, physically, he changes his body all the time. He really gets into character a lot. I'm really excited to see what he does with that movie. Also, Casey Affleck is another actor that really tries to gravitate towards really good projects, and I'm hoping that Out of the Furnace is definitely one of those because I'm very interested in seeing that one. Another film that I think could improve upon the first one is Hobbit 2. I liked the first one. I didn't hate it or anything, but I do think it could have been a little bit better. But I think this second film can really build upon the first one, just like I've been talking about with Thor and Hunger Games 2. I really think this film can build upon what's already there and make a better film. There's a lot more to the Hobbit story now. They're getting into the best part of the Hobbit story, I think. Hopefully they'll be able to condense it to the point where you don't feel like it's this really stretched out trilogy, because it's really just one book. So hopefully this one can be more meaty and feel like there's more depth going on there. Peter Jackson is always fantastic with visuals, and I'm really interested to see what he does there. And my most anticipated comedy for the rest of the year is definitely Anchorman 2. Anchorman's a film that I saw in theaters when it first came out, and for some reason I just didn't get it. And then I saw it again, and suddenly I got it. I don't know what it was. Anchorman is one of the funniest films I've seen. It's just so absurdly silly, and it has so many great lines in there that I have quoted many times throughout the course of my life. And I'm hoping that Anchorman 2 is similar in that way, and that it doesn't feel like a cash grab or like they're just making a sequel trying to emulate the first film or the success of the first one. I'm hoping it can feel like its own thing as well, while still being hilarious. Monuments Men is also coming out, and that's the new George Clooney movie. I don't know much about this film. I just know that George Clooney directs films very well, and he brings great casts in. And I've heard really good things about the way the filming and the production went. A lot of the cast members are really excited about the movie, so I'm hoping that one's pretty good. Now, here's a film that we haven't really seen a trailer for that I don't understand why, actually, because it's coming out pretty soon. We really haven't seen anything about this movie except a couple production photos, but Jack Ryan, the new reboot of the character Jack Ryan, is coming out with Chris Pine and Kevin Costner. Haven't seen a thing about this movie, and it's coming out pretty soon, so I'm a little worried about that, actually. But I am interested just because of the character alone, because I am a fan of the original films, not so much The Sum of All Fears, but I liked Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger very much. Hopefully this one follows in those footsteps, where it's an intense political thriller that feels like it has real world connections as well. Those were some of the best elements of the first ones. And lastly, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Ben Stiller's new film, looks really cool. If you haven't seen the trailer for this movie, it looks pretty awesome. I don't know how he's going to tell this story, because it's about a guy who likes to live in his dreams and his imagination, and then you get to see what he's imagining. That could make for some really great imagery, but I hope that there's also a cool story to go along with that cool imagery. So those are some of my most anticipated films for the rest of the year. What are some of your guys' most anticipated films for the rest of this year? I'm curious if you agree with me, what your thoughts are on some of the films I said, or if there's anything I may have missed. Let me know below. I tried to get everything in there as best I could. I tried. Guys, thanks very much for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.